What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Evan Simon Show. I'm going to tell you what, guys. Today, I decided actually, wear clothes instead of pajamas. My hair is not that great right now, but you know what? We're just going to roll with it, right? Need to get my hair cut, trimmed. I'll get that eventually. So today, let's congratulate ourselves on 2 episodes real quick. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. You know, I put that first episode up yesterday. I got a whole 2 people. But that's fine, because even though I don't know if anyone's going to watch this, it's still fun for me to do it. And like I said yesterday, I find it very helpful to gain the experience. Hey, this guy's a host. I'm excited. A few things, you know what? Let's take a step back. Let me tell you about some of my plans. A few things what I want to do is, you see, I'm awkwardly holding this mic right here, and it's not the best mic. So hopefully I'm going to invest in a better microphone, and I'm going to get myself an arm to hook the microphone up so I don't have to awkwardly hold it. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to get. And then 2, I'm probably going to work on getting a camera. I probably could set that camera better up. You know what? Hold on. Bear with me for 1 second, fam. That's out of focus. Okay, that's a little bit better. Not great. So yeah, the second thing I'm definitely going to have to be doing is see if I can get a better camera set up, or at least a better computer set up to try to figure that out. So bear with me. That's probably going to be a while though. But that is my core dreams. It's my first step now. What are the first things I want to do before I move on? So today, I was really debating on what I want to talk today. But we got a couple of exciting news stories that they kind of fit together. So I'm going to go up with them. So for those who don't know, it's long been rumored that Xbox is going to, this is the Evan Simon Show, by the way, if I forgot to say that, the Xbox is going to release a cheaper discless version of the Xbox One S, their already slim console. And as the name suggests, there's not going to be a disc to it. It's going to be, well, here we go. This is sweet what this thing says. So this is from USA Today. Xbox One gets cheaper with the new discless $249 One S All Digital Edition. And this is by Eli Blumenthal, I believe is the name. So the Xbox One S is getting a cheaper sibling. On Tuesday, Microsoft announced that it will be launching a new version of its Xbox One S system on May 7th. That is a Blu-ray disc drive in favor of a cheaper $249.99 price. Beyond the removal of the drive, the new One S All Digital Edition is nearly identical in both size and performance to earlier Xbox One S consoles. It comes with a 1TB hard drive for storing games and can still stream videos in 4K HDR. The white design is the same as the current One S, with the only real difference externally being that the slot for the disc is now solid plastic. Changing the blah 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 blah. And it kind of goes on, but that's really the main gist of things. So I have a little bit in 2 minds about this. On one hand, this is very smart for Microsoft to try to create a cheaper, more approachable, a cheaper Xbox that people can get their hands on easier. Right? I find that to be very smart on them. I think that they've been making a lot of money. Not saying they haven't been losing this generation or anything like that, but they have been losing this generation, but they haven't been faring that well, right? Like they're in second place, but they're still doing pretty record numbers themselves. But they really struggled these past 5 years of the new generation. And for them, that is an issue because they want to be back on top. So the idea of hey, we're going to try to keep on making Xboxes cheaper. We're going to release a version without a disc that's going to, be able to, people be able to have their hands on easily, like I said. That's great. The thing that's not great is that the $249 price range. I think it's too expensive. Here's the thing: I'm not a tech guy. I'm sure that's probably as cheap as they can possibly make it, but at the same time, it should be $199 tops. It should be not any more expensive than that, because that extra $50 is just, I think it's just too much. It's still a bigger price range, and I'm sure there are people who are gonna find this device and they're excited about it and they're gonna play it, but I just don't know if this is exactly what they need right now. And I'm excited about Xbox. I'm excited about the future. E3 came out last year and they said, hey, we bought all these studios, we have all these plans, and of course I'm doing Games Pass and all the cool things that they're doing. It's all fantastic, and I'm excited to figure out what the next official console is gonna be. Because I think that they're really making the steps right now to put themselves at a better footing than they did this year. I think they're going to learn from the mistakes from the previous generation and go forward. And I'm excited. They bought a ton of studios, and great studios. They founded, a new studio, the Coalition, with some amazing talent, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do there. But for me, this is just a half-step measure, right? If they should have been more aggressive with the price. And like I said, I'm sure this is cheap as they can go. But really, I just don't know who's going to buy this. I just don't know if, a ton of people are really going to get the market that they want. So we're just going to see on that. I'll still be rooting for them. And I'm sure, there are people who will be interested, but I think, before I move on, I think this is probably a good idea, as in, one thing I think this would be a good idea is if Xbox or Microsoft is able to kind of future-proof themselves, right? They're putting out this idea that, okay, we can have a $249 Xbox One that doesn't have a disc. And the fact that they're putting out the idea that it won't have a disc, I think that is future-proofing, because I think it is getting people used to the idea that maybe the next Xbox, whatever it's called, the Xbox 4, the Xbox 2, whatever the next generation, the official next generation of Xbox, that is going to be maybe discless, or might have a discless version to it. They're getting to this idea that we should, throw discs away, and I'm all for it. I have a few Blu-rays that I don't want to lose, that I still use and I want to watch, but mostly I'm an all digital person. I'm all streaming person, and I'm all for that. But let's just see how this goes in the future. So that's all I have to say about that regard. The second story I wanted to talk about is another console story. In my opinion, the more exciting console story is that we are getting we have PlayStation 5 news. So Mark Cerny, the architect of PS4, and I'm assuming the architect of PS5 also, he went on to Wired, I believe the name of the magazine, and he talked to them about what the next what the next PlayStation is going to be. And I didn't use that particular article. I found another one that kind of summarized it, because, let's be honest, all that tech stuff is really upside my head right now. But there's still some stuff to talk about. So I found an article from The Verge, written by Chaim Gartenberg. I hope that's how they pronounce that name too. Sony reveals PlayStation 5 details, 8K graphics, ray tracing, SSDs, and PS4 backwards compatibility. They also didn't mention the 3D audio, which is another thing. But this sweet little bit a second. We've known for a while that Sony is working on its next generation PlayStation console. Call it in the PlayStation 5 for lack of a better name. But today we got the first real details on what to expect from the new hardware, thanks to an interview with Wired. Specifically, Sony's promising that the PS5 support for 8K graphics, 3D audio, super fast SSDs, backward compatibility with existing PlayStation 4 games. Now I will note that I read the original Wired article and I couldn't find any official confirmation that they were using it would be backwards compatible. They did say that there was some PlayStation 4 games, he played Spider-Man and demonstrated it by comparing the two from the PS4 version to the future PlayStation. This is called the PS5 for argument's sake, because that's what's mostly it's going to be called. So they did show Spider-Man, the PS4 game, running on the PS5. but I'm not sure if that really means it's backward compatibility or not. I looked all over. I can't find specific details, but you know what? So I don't know if they're there or not. But hey, in the comments, go tell me I'm wrong. And let's go a little bit further down. According to Mark Cerny, who served as the lead system architect of the PS4, the new console isn't just a spec-boosted upgrade of the PS4 like the PS4 Pro was. There's entirely new hardware inside the PlayStation 5, including an 8-core CPU based on AMD's 3rd Gen Ryzen line, built with the chimp company latest... okay, I don't know what any of this means. But basically means the PS4, like I said, 8K graphics, assuming you got a TV that can do this. So this is exciting news. Okay, like I said, most of this stuff, from what over my head, right? But a couple of things I noticed. SSDs. For what I understand, these are extremely expensive. They're the processors, and so far they have been difficult to put on consoles because of the price tags. Nowadays they're getting a little bit cheaper, so hopefully that means that they'll be able to get the PlayStation 5 out and have it be a reasonable price that consumers want to buy. So that's great. Mark Cerny in the Wired article, he said that he showed fast traveling in Spider-Man, and it took like 15 seconds to fast travel from one location to the other, and the same location on the PS5 took about 0.8 seconds, which is great. That's what as a gamer, that's what I particularly want. Faster load times, number one. And also 8K graphics. 8K graphics, who the heck knows if they're actually going to be using this? Or who the heck knows how much people are going to buy this? This to me is like future-proofing, like I said with the other story. That their 8K isn't very common. I don't even know if 8K TVs exist. I don't even think they do. I have a 4K TV, and it's great. So this to me is okay, they're saying it will be the standard, just like everything, eventually 1080p TVs or high def TVs were high end, and now the kind of last year's news now is all about 4K and HDR, so I'm sure that's just what's going to happen eventually. So it's cool that the proof in that. Ray tracing, which I think might be over there, we're talking about 3D audio when you can hear enemies easier. Stuff like that, better audio. He said that he was frustrated by the how audio didn't advance that much between PlayStation 3 and 4. So the one thing they really want to do with this new console, the PlayStation 5, is they really want to make sure the audio is really enhanced and more immersive, like a VR game. And also, speaking of VR, he said that the VR capabilities it's like the PS5 will be able to hook up with the VR, but he was very cool if they were releasing a new PlayStation 5, or a new a headset, which I'm assuming they would. I'm assuming next gen, my guess would be PlayStation 5 comes out fall, winter 2020, and then they might release a headset about a year or two later. Because I think the one issue with PlayStation VR, which I have one, I love it, but the wires, there's this really no good way. It's not designed in a way that you can get rid of the wires easily without being a big jumble up mess. So if you could maybe even, I don't know if necessarily remove the wires, or maybe we just redesign it so that wires aren't sticking everywhere, that'd be great. But we'll see what happens. So, and SSDs, super fast processing software. I'm excited about all this. I think that it's really smart for Sony to have this interview come out early, because it gets them ahead of the game, and it gets so people to remember that Sony's still there and kicking. I think all this stuff is boring stuff no one understands, so you couldn't put it in a conference, or you couldn't put it in a conference or anything like that. So I do believe that is the truth in that situation. So I think what Sony needs to do, and what Sony is put on top right now, is because technically the hardware is inferior to Xboxes, and like I said earlier, Xbox be buying all these amazing studios. Xbox is being very aggressive for next gen, And I think they're going to have some really exciting exclusives for next year, or for next generation. But that's the one thing that can always put Sony far above, because Xbox has always been a superior console, for I believe anyway, but like technical wise on a hardware level. But the thing they always struggled with is having a very strong exclusive line, which Sony is. Sony is known as like a publisher of these amazing games. It's the 1 year anniversary of God of War. That was a quickly acclaimed game, and you have The Last of Us and Uncharted, and just next year Spider-Man, like I said, was great. And then you have Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, all exciting games you want to play. So Sony knows how to make great exclusives. And so for them to catch up with Xbox, because I think Xbox is going to make some great exclusives, but for Sony to catch up with them, they need to beat them on a hardware level, or at least become face-to-face with them. And my biggest concern, as most people's concern, is how expensive this is going to be. I think a $500 console, $499, would be the best bet for me. You might have two versions, like they did with PlayStation 3. Not make it too expensive, because that was like $600. That was like ridiculous. But $400, $500 range, I think that's going to be the smart move here, that I think most people would. And they also talked about briefly, like I don't even know, like not even really talked about it, but they asked Mark Cerny about streaming. So like how Xbox is investigating in like streaming games, and Sony has PlayStation Now too, but then they have Google Stadia and all these different things. And he said, well, he didn't rule it out. I forgot exact quote, but he was basically like kind of hinting that they would be streaming. So I wonder if maybe, because the rumor is the thing's backwards compatible. So I wonder if maybe you have the box come out. It's a new expensive box, PlayStation 5. But maybe you can still use your PlayStation 4 to stream PlayStation 5 games, and they might not look as good, but you'll still be available. And that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Or you might release like a cheaper version, which I don't know if it doesn't have a disc or whatever at the same time, just make an economic version. But I don't know if they'll do that, but I will say I think about a $500 console is what we're looking at here. And I'm excited. I'm a huge PlayStation fan, right? PlayStation is my home, is my favorite console. I love it. I love Sony, and I love them as a company. I love them as a publisher, so I can't wait to see what they are going to do. So that's all about the gaming news today. And I am at 17 minutes. I'm just going to get a bit longer here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to talk for a second, because I'm pretty sure no one is going to watch this video. And if you do watch this video, you're not going to watch it past this point. I'm just going to say that I really enjoy this. I really can't wait to get better at this. I know that right now I'm probably not that good as a host. Part of that's probably because I'm just doing it by myself. I think if I maybe had someone else, but that's down the line. But you know what? This is fun. This is a fun thing to do. I'm excited. Hopefully, I'm gonna get a job soon. Because, like I said, I just moved to San Antonio. I think I said that yesterday. I just moved to San Antonio recently. And be here with my brother. Moved into this nice apartment. And it's great. Big change from where I was. Used to be back in Midland. Very smaller town. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be here for more than a year. But I'm happy to be here because, like I said, my brother lives here. His family lives here. It's fun. The reason why I say that is because I think I'm excited about what life has for me, And like I said, it's probably weird for me saying that, but at the same time, it's like, well, no one's going to listen anyway, so who cares? I'm excited to have what life has for me. I'm nervous, I'm trying to find a job desperately. That way I can, once I get a job, this channel, I'm planning on doing so much cool things once I can actually afford to buy some stuff. And it's going to be great. Hopefully I can get dreams and I can start streaming, and it's going to be real fun. But other than that, man, let's see what happens, right? I'm hopefully eventually one of these days I'll be able to be hired by someone big, and we'll see what happens. So that was the Evan Simon Show. Went on the tangent there, but hey, we're always here. We're here together. And yeah, if you do listen to this video, if you do watch it to the end, go ahead and give me a comment and tell me what you would like to see me do. What do you think I can be better at? Like I said, this is a journey that you and I are going on together. And it may not be the most prettiest journey. It might be, a rough journey. But you know what? It is a journey. And I am excited to get better and be more impressive and be able to get a better microphone and better camera setup. So yeah, I'm going to sign out right now. And keep it classy.